Hey everybody, this is Goots, Ray Goots. Welcome to Goots' Wrestling Pod. I am your host, Ray Goots. I've said it twice. With me, as always, is Andrew Lee, bro. Andrew Lee, it's a new year. It's 1997. How you feeling, Oos?
1997, I'm feeling good, man. Was it a good year for you, 1997? What was happening in the world?
Well, I was in high school. I wasn't watching wrestling. I was watching a lot of. I was going to movies a lot, and I was playing PlayStation 2 a lot. I mean, PlayStation 1. I wasn't. And the N64 a lot, but I wasn't watching wrestling. Was into comics. Heroes Reborn was going on, but then and then Heroes Return, and then I think it was what the fuck was the DC? DC had some weird crossover that summer, but I think Gotham had an earthquake. Well, I remember a lot from '97. I saw Men in Black in the theaters. That stunk.
That's a lot more than what I remember.
Um, fucking what else? I saw Scream 2 in the theaters. So but like, I don't know. I kind of felt like I was more social with kids my age the previous years. Then '98 things started. I started, but you know what? Before we talk about 1997, we got to talk about a person, a traitor to AEW, and a traitor to the cause of professional wrestling. We're talking about Mariah May, or whatever her slave name will be.
Oh,
She has
don't
betrayed.
call her by her name. She is just a traitor.
She's a traitor. She's a glamorous traitor. They had her say
Glamorous traitor. Yeah.
did you notice they had her say glamorous like 57 times? So that must mean her name's gonna be like glamorous Glenn Gilberti. I don't know.
Oh, wait a minute. They didn't use the name Mariah May.
No, she didn't say Mariah May.
Oh, that's
She kept
right.
calling herself glamorous. That was all she kept saying.
Actually, hold on. I'm just reading it now. Her name is gonna be Mariah Saint. That's gonna be her name.
I heard her name is gonna be Mariah McMahon.
Mariah McMahon.
So here I saw a lot of people like being like, "What a loser! She's on NXT. She's not on the main roster." First of all, number one, this girl. Have you seen like her old post history on Twitter, Mariah
Some
May?
of it. Some of it.
She like was a diehard fan. Like she would argue with people about Roman Reigns in 2015 and 2017. She would like argue. Like she was like passionate about the fact that Roman Reigns should win the belt. Like she wasn't like this is so and she used to go to events and she used to have a collection of WWE shop t-shirts just like the Goots. She's a fan. And I think from day one, she had a plan. Whereas I'm going to go to Japan, and then I'm going to go to AEW, and then I'm going to go to WWE. And she pulled off that plan flawlessly. Now, the other thing about NXT, people are saying, "Oh, you." I think people forget NXT is on national television. It's not. They act like NXT is like broadcast at 4 in the morning on a fucking in a train station in Siberia. It's on national TV. It's on the CW. Do you know how many fucking bro? Do you know what would happen if you went up to Brendan Sagalow and said you could have a show every Tuesday night, 8 o'clock on the CW? He'd fucking come all over himself. Like, it's a big deal that she's on NXT. They got rid of all the other women. She's gonna be the main star. Like, do you understand? Like, she's gonna be on all the promotional posters. She's gonna be the main focus of this show that's on national television, free network TV.
That's so funny. You went, oh, and I thought you were gonna go into that nerd voice, and then just went straight to your regular voice. I was like, wait a minute,
Like, no,
trying to
he's
bring
feeling like, oh, she's on
So,
NXT.
by the way, let me respond to this real quick. So, for those of you guys who don't know, Julia and Stephanie Verker are actually both being moved away from NXT to the main roster, including Jordan Grace. Supposedly, Jordan Grace is also going to the main roster. So that is what right now the title, the women's title, the NXT women's title, I believe, is on JC Jane. They did fire a whole bunch of people like Cora Jade and stuff. So right now it's like an open floor, right, for women to step up in NXT, and that they're prominently featuring Mariah May. She's probably going to be able to be the face of NXT, and that's what Ray is referring to.
National TV show. Where
Yeah,
I don't
and you know what?
understand.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Dynamite was national as well. It was actually more on more station. It's probably more providers than CW, but Mariah May wasn't the star of the show, right?
Yeah.
In
Mhm.
this situation in NXT, she may be positioned as the face, the one who's on every episode, right? Will
Yeah.
always have a segment every episode. And that's a big deal. That's 100% a big deal. Good for her. Congratulations to her. She played the game flawlessly.
And
Come
here's the
over.
other thing.
Yes.
Here's the other thing though, because I don't fans. So fans are upset. There was rumors that SmackDown was going to go from 3 hours to 2 hours. They said no. Fans are upset. Fans want SmackDown to be 2 hours. I don't know. You're not watching Raw. I've been watching Raw since I've been here in Cali. Most of the time, Raw is 2.5 hours. It's no longer 3 hours. Okay. They moved up Julia. They moved up Stephanie Vacquer. They're moving up Jordan Grace. They still have Tiffy time. They still have Bailey to come back. Becky Lynch is trying to get Lyra Valkyrie over. Let's not forget the men. Where would Mariah May go? Not everybody can get a push at the same time. You can't want the shows to be shorter, but you also want everyone to have a push. You want everyone to be on TV, and you don't want anyone to get fired. That's not how the world works. So if you want Raw and SmackDown to be shorter, there's no room for Mariah May on those fucking shows right now. Unless you want to have, you know what? We can fire DIY and we can fire fucking Rhea Ripley and we can put her right there. How'd you feel? But you don't want to, they also don't want anyone to be fired. Where are these people supposed to go? Are they supposed to wrestle like on a secret show we don't know about?
Yeah.
No, but like people online are like, oh, so and so needs more TV time. Okay, the show's only 3 hours and you want the show to be shorter. So where's their TV time? What are they? What are we? How are they supposed to make it work? I don't like Triple H's booking. I think right now the shows are shit. But also, how is he supposed to get over 47,000 wrestlers at once?
Ring of Honor, Goose.
NXT. That's the answer. You have Mariah May be the star of NXT.
Yeah, I agree. I think
Yeah.
it's a good. How do you feel about the truth, our truth, being let go?
I mean, I've had more time to think about it, and I've decided I don't care.
Uh,
Um,
right. That's fair. That's fair.
I mean, I don't. I mean,
You know
I
who I think should sign him is TNA. I think TNA should sign him.
I'll say this. I don't think he should have been fired. I think he should have been put in a different role. However, I do think there was a talk about reducing his pay, maybe changing his role. He said no. He wanted to stay where he is. He is 53 years old. What can you do?
Wait, is that
Corporations are,
confirmed that they did ask him that and he
that's,
said no?
I mean, I wasn't in the room. I can't confirm anything. For all I know, they could have been like, we want to give you triple. And he was like, no. Um, but at a certain point, what can you do with the guy? If you want to keep him, but he wanted more money, I don't think he's worth a raise at this point in his life. So I don't know. I don't know. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really affect me. People were like, we should be a boycott WWE over this. So like, half of you guys complained when he got TV time. Half of you guys bitched and moaned when he won the title at WrestleMania last year, when he fought John Cena a week ago, and now you want to. So this shit doesn't exist in a vacuum. You don't think you don't think these executives check social media and they saw everybody complaining about our truth and they're like, well, maybe we don't really need this guy because nobody seems to be happy he's on NBC. You know,
You know what? I don't give a fuck what these wrestling fans think anymore. They're all pretty stupid. Wrestling
they're
fans,
just unrealistic. It's
they
just an
have
unrealistic.
a lot of them have really bad takes on things, and I'm just like,
They've
that
always, yeah,
makes sense.
dude. I told the guy off today because he was telling me that wrestlers actually would prefer to go to AEW than WWE, and I was like, if you want to live in this fantasy land, you can, but most 90% of wrestlers want to wind up in WWE at the end of the day. And that's been true since the 80s. I mean, I listened to Arn Anderson's podcast. He was constantly calling up Barry Darsow and Iron Sheik, trying to figure out when he should make the jump to WWE so he can make. And the reason why they want to go is ultimately, yeah, WWE may lowball you, but ultimately, if you become a star there, if you become the next Austin or even the next fucking Bailey, there's a chance to make millions if you can fucking prove yourself. And that's
It's
why they all wanted to go there.
not even make millions. Here's the thing. If you are a former WWE superstar, even if you just became like a mid Carter or whatever, you can actually use that for a long time,
Mm-hmm.
right? Let's be honest, that's the truth, right? You go to the Indies, former WWE superstar X, Y, and Z. You go to Wrestling Con, former WWE superstar. You get a booth. It's one of those things where like it sucks if you get fired, but you can use that clout for a while, right? And
I
that's
mean,
why everybody wants to go there. Anybody who disagrees with that, that the majority, we're not talking all, but majority of wrestlers don't want if somebody goes no, I don't believe that majority of professional wrestlers want to end up in WWE. I don't think their opinions count for much. I think their heads in the cloud. So
I, I I have to stop with talking to wrestling fans. I know we had this conversation with Mike. I called the guy. A guy like got nasty because he was trying to say people are happy in AEW and like it's no like people can just like make a living in AEW, and I'm like, no, that's true, but they ultimately want to wind up in WWE. And if I just told him, I go, you know what, you're a useless piece of shit, is what I called the guy. And I gotta because it's like talking to a
are
child.
you serious? Wow, that was worse than what I got into.
Well, you know what? But I don't know this guy, and he probably is a useless piece of shit. It's like if you want to live in a fan, look, if you like, there's been rumors about Chrissy Hemme, which is why she went back to WWE. If you find yourself in a Chrissy Hemme situation or Dr. D David Schultz situation, there's no chance to go back to WWE. Then yeah, you should. I make the best of AEW or TNA or MLW, or whoever. Matt Riddle, that's a good one. Wherever you are, that's fine. Yeah, but if I had a family member or a son or a daughter that wanted to be a pro wrestler, that was their dream, and they told me they're fine in TNA or AEW, I would be like, I think you should quit and get a real job. Because if you're going to put your body at risk like this, and your goal is not to main event WrestleMania, man or woman, then you're wasting my time. And then I don't want my other family members. Who's going to take care of you? Your wife has to. Your wife or your husband, after I'm gone, has to take care of my child because they can't walk because they fucking fell through 15 tables for Tony Khan for 14 people in the room. Come on. Like, I want you. If my child, you want to be a pro wrestler, I'm like, okay, that's fine. I'll help you with it. But you better want to main event WrestleMania. Because if that's not your goal, then you go get a real fucking job. I don't need you wasting losing your health for GCW bullshit to appeal to a bunch of fat slobs.
So you want to do the Royal Rumble now?
I'll tell you a year. Well, yes, I will tell you a year where none of this applied, which is January 1997,
Yeah.
because I do think they were in danger of people's goals to not be in WWE because this show stunk.
This show stunk. Yes, you're absolutely right. This show stunk.
I could
There
see
was
someone's goal. I could see the goal being like, I do never want to work for WWE if you're starting in 1997. You know,
yeah, yeah. So Royal Rumble 1997 tagline is "No more Mr. Nice Guy." It's a picture of what Shawn Michaels, "No more Mr. Nice Guy."
making like his mad face, like he's like, I'm so
Yeah.
mean.
Dude,
I'm so mean.
I can't stand Shawn Michaels this period. I know, and you know what the worst part is? Like he's supposed to be like the top guy, and he's so just unlikable. I
Bro,
don't know
this
how he was the top guy during 1996 and 1997. The things
because
he does in the rings, the way he's unprofessional with Vader, the way it's not just Vader. Remember in that ladder match, he shoves the ref out of the way. Let me do it. And this way he's just super unprofessional at multiple parts in different matches. And I'm like, how is this the top? This is why they're the shitter because he's the top guy, you
exactly,
know?
dude. The thing about this show that gets me is that they have all the pieces they need to be. Vince has. you watch that Rumble match, he has all the pieces he needs to become a billionaire in that ring. But everyone's miscast. Nobody's being used the right way. And I'll tell you what say the WWE. Addition by subtraction. And I'm going to say this for AEW. I think the same thing. When he got rid of Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels, you can I'll agree with you. Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels are way better workers than 99% of the roster in 1998, 1999 WWF. Even in WCW, I will say that. But they ultimately added nothing. And you take both of them out of the equation, and somehow with a worse roster, it becomes must see TV. It became I thought about it before we logged on. They never had a hotter period with a worse roster than 98, 99. Most of the roster can barely work, and the shows are incredibly good. Incredibly good. And it's just sometimes you just take people away and you just take somebody away and things improve. It's crazy. It's crazy. But yeah, they you know, this is the culmination, this show, of pushing the wrong fucking people. Because since Hogan left, he's been pushing the wrong fucking people. And now it's put up or shut up time because he's about to lose a lot of money over 1997. You
Yeah.
know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So this takes place January 19th, 1997, at the Alamo Dome in San Antonio, Texas. Over 60,000 people are in attendance. Pay-per-view buy rates for Royal Rumble 1997 is 196,000 pay-per-view buys. Sounds like a lot, but it's actually a drop because in the Royal Rumble 1996, it had 269,000 pay-per-view buys.
And that
So
was when Undertaker was in the main event.
yeah, so you're losing about 70,000 pay-per-view
What is
buys from.
what does Sold Out have?
So Sold Out, which is the WCW show pay-per-view in January of 1997, it has worse numbers, but because it was billed as an NWO pay-per-view, only 5,000 people are in attendance, and it only drew 170,000 pay-per-view buys. So that's not normal because if you look at 1996, especially the second half of 1996, WCW is outdrawing WWF in attendance and in pay-per-view buys. So this was Sold Out must have been a terrible fucking mistake. It was
You
a
know what?
terrible.
I'll tell you why I think first of all, there's no Piper. There's no Piper at the show. There's no Lex Luger on the show. And there's no Sting. And the main event of the show is Hogan versus Giant. People have seen that a billion times.
Yeah,
So I think people, and I think also people are unsure about the concept. They're like, "What do you mean?"
yeah, it's an NWO pay-per-view.
So
It's not a
who had a better buy
WWE.
rate in January? Was it WWE or WCW?
Wait, what did you say?
Who sold more pay per views in January?
Oh, it was Royal Rumble. Royal Rumble beat Sold Out in both attendance and buy
Well,
rates.
the
So
attendance. So the attendance of this Rumble, you can't go by it. Vince McMahon sat down with his generals in late '96 and said,
mhm.
"We're gonna have a stadium show and we're gonna sell it out. I don't give a fuck if I pay for everyone's ticket. We're just gonna do it because I want that optics out there." And
Yeah,
Bruce Prichard has argued that it's good optics. And I thought about it. He hasn't had a show this packed since 1992, since SummerSlam '92. So I told you, they gave away free tickets when you got a Subway sandwich. I think you got tickets at this. They were pretty much most people there were there for free, and that's the other reason why they had the AAA guys. They were basically bringers. They had to bring 10 people. This was like, it's this show. Basically, Vince proved like anybody can fill out a stadium if they just want to lose one.
yeah, I see. So we get an intro hype of Shawn Michaels' career. Oh, Shawn Michaels. Oh, we were watching him grow up, become a man. And he is returning home to San Antonio, Texas. I was a boy when I left, and I'm returning as a man back to San Antonio, Texas. So this is about Shawn Michaels. He is going to be the headliner of Royal Rumble 1997. We got Vince McMahon Jr., Jerry King Lawler, and Jim Ross on commentary. We also got the Spanish announce table. They actually show them. They go, "Hey, here are the Spanish announce guys: Arturo Rivera, Hugo Savinovich and Carlos Cabrera. And on the French side, French commentary, we got Ray and Jacques Rougeau, the family members.
Oui,
Jacques Rougeau
oui,
Sr.
oui, oui.
Yeah. Um, I remember this as a kid. Like they would constantly show the Spanish announce table and the French, and then somewhere down the line they just took away the French guy. And I was like, I guess they wasn't.
They were doing a thing where they'd have like this long like table, and they'd have like, and they show you all the different countries a few years ago. Now they don't
Yeah,
show you. They don't show you anyone.
yeah. They would like Funaki. They would show you the Japanese guys, and Funaki
Yeah,
was the
they
one of
don't
the
show you anyone.
commentators. Yeah. You know what? Like, I like I like it when they do that though. You know why? Because it makes it seem like they're international, like fully international.
It gives the illusion, even if they're doing horrible, that okay, maybe they're not doing good here, but I bet you in Paris everyone's watching, which is that's why they have to have the French commentators.
Yeah, yeah, and you know what? I wasn't really watching wrestling at this point, but I would follow little things every once in a while. And I would, at my age, I did not know they were doing bad business. You know,
My
I didn't.
friend, my friend, who wasn't a friend. He was a guy, a waiter at Caroline's, and his ex-boyfriend was one of the commentators for one of the weird languages. I forget which language it was, but it wasn't like it was one. It was a smaller language, and he decided as a test to see if he could just say what he wanted, and he kind of said like Triple H sucks, and it got through. So then from there, he just started saying what he wanted, and no one ever called him on it. Like he would kind of would like make fun of the show, or and it was like a weird language. And I always thought that was funny. I was like, because I always wondered, do you think there's a feed where they're just like completely shitting, like Vince McMahon doesn't know what he's doing anymore. This
I
fucking
would like to
Bronson
know what
idiot.
language that was. I would love to see know what language that was. Someone
It
recorded it.
was a strange
That would,
language.
yeah.
Yeah,
What was it like? It was like that, like African clicks and shit,
maybe
like
Portuguese. Maybe Portuguese.
Portuguese. Weird language, Portuguese.
Well, I mean, like I can like yeah, Italian, Japanese, Chinese, French, German. I consider, I don't know a lot of people who speak Portuguese. Clearly, Vince McMahon didn't because the guy said Triple H stinks and is overrated, and he got away with it.
All right, so after we get this video package and the introduction of the commentators, we get a recap for our first match coming up. We get a recap of Hunter Helmsley's ego. He's got a massive ego, and it's got
Oh,
to
what a
be
surprise!
check, yeah. And we get a video of Goldust turning face by denouncing that he is not gay, right? That's what
No,
made it.
you know what? They bleep out. It's bleeped out here, but it was on the original VHS and not bleeped out. Jerry Lawler says, "Aren't you a fag?"
Yeah. Oh, Jesus. Yeah. Yeah. And he, that's what makes him this is, I mean, it's a different time, guys. This is like 30 years ago. Basically, yeah, he's to go, I'm not gay to get people to cheer. That's awful. It's awful. And Hunter basically he wants Marlena, Goldust's valet, and like he hurts her and stuff like that. So that's what's leading into this feud between Hunter Helmsley and Goldust. It is for the Intercontinental Championship match. This is our first match. Goldust and Marlena. These guys are fan favorites. These are now the faces. They're the good guys versus the Intercontinental Champion Hunter, who comes out with the returning Mr. Hughes. Mr. Hughes is
One
so
time
weird.
only.
Oh,
One
this is
time.
a one time only. You know, it's really weird.
Apparently,
What?
apparently, I think the story goes Vince wanted Triple H to have a bodyguard. He meets China somewhere, or he's already dating China, and he's pitching China. And Vince goes, "No, I'm going to give you Mr. Hughes." And after this show, apparently, Shawn Michaels backed up Hunter and said he needs China. This is not going to work. China's going to make him stand out. So he's fighting for China behind the scenes right now, Triple H.
Which was the right move. I
It's
will
the
say that. Yeah.
genius. One of the smartest things Triple H ever did was use
Yeah.
that woman until she died to become where he is. Anyway,
Yeah, but Mr. Hughes is so weird. He just pops up randomly every once in a while. Like this isn't gonna be his last time he's gonna show up either.
no,
He's gonna
he
show.
does it with Jericho too. Yeah,
Yeah, he shows up again later. He's just like a weird dude, just shows up randomly. And he always has the same name. Like
Well,
they
that's
don't
all.
put him on. Like he doesn't come back as the stalker. Like Barry Windham. He just always Mr. Hughes, and he's always wearing sunglasses. It's just so kind of funny. I think that's got to be some kind of weird record.
I think
Anyway,
it's like similar to Marty Jannetty's where they just keep coming back and stuff.
yeah.
I kind of
So
like, what I kind of like about Crush and Marty Jannetty and Mr. Hughes. It feels like, and even though this isn't true, and Godfather's the same type, it feels like they're always in the company. It's just like Vince has them going on secret missions somewhere, and then he brings them back, and he's even trying to explain, like, "Oh, Mr. Hughes is just here again," and we're all
yeah,
just like, "Yes, Mr. Hughes." And the same
yeah.
thing happens with like
There's there's
um,
no there's
Father.
no explanation. You just think like, oh, maybe they were just like, oh, you know what? I was just missing the shows that they were on.
Yeah,
They're
and
always
like we don't have a guy like that anymore that just kind of like comes like if you I was thinking about like like I was watching Crush at the Rumble and I'm like Crush has been on some type of WWE show every year, at least once a year since 1990. But he's been in prison. He's had all this other stuff happen in life, but somehow he's always on a WWF show. Like it's hilarious to me.
they should do that. They should really have someone like that again. That's funny.
Yeah.
It's really funny. So anyway, Goldust, he runs down to attack Triple H. I mean, sorry, Hunter in the aisle, and he throws him into the ring, and he's just beating on Helmsley. He drapes Helmsley onto the rails, and he throws the steel steps onto Hunter, and then Hunter just like he's taking all these bumps for him. Junior tells us George and Adam were thrown out of the building at the free,
Oh, oh.
uh, and the King laughs at this. What? Do you have any background on this?
So yeah, George and Adam were comedy characters that were on the shows, and they were like super fans. And Vince, this is one of the things that Vince Russo killed, apparently. Vince wanted to make them characters. So they'd kind of be like Wayne and Garth or something, and they'd kind of have misadventures around the shows as these fans. And they would basically be like characters on the show, but they're like fans. They weren't going to get involved in the matches. And I think they worked for the company. They weren't going to like get in, but they were like having their own subplot, and that was going to continue. Like they have a sitcom going on.
Whose idea was this?
Vince McMahon's
This is a terrible idea.
and Russo. I think is one of the first things Russo kills.
You know what? You know I hate Vince Russo, but bravo.
I think. But like, yeah, the idea was, and I think Vince's idea was like, well, maybe like we can give them a sitcom, and they'll be like Joey and Chandler of the WWF, and it's just like,
Dude, Junior, like he fucking like he's so lucky he had such a great team because he fucking lost the touch years ago. Like
yeah, well,
decades
yeah,
ago.
yeah,
He lost it. He
yeah.
lost it already by the 90s. Yeah, and luckily he had a great team. Anyway, going back to this match, Hunter knees the railing by accident, and then Goldust drops the steel steps on his knees, and Hunter has he's like laying. They're fighting all over the floor, and he gets up and he's got all this gold confetti shit all over his fucking bag. I'm like, this
The
is
the Johnny B bits. When they don't clean the ring, that's when the company's
yeah,
doing bad.
because you know what it is. It's like the company's doing bad because you guys stop caring about
Yeah,
everything,
you
including
can't
these
afford
little.
to.
Yeah, you're not even caring to fucking sweep this up. It just shows how lazy and like disinterested you guys are. So why should we be interested?
Yeah.
Anyways, Goldust keeps working on Hunter's left leg. They fight on the floor some more, a very long time, and nobody gives a fuck about this match. Not even WWF.
They
What?
all they all they all just wanted a Subway sandwich for lunch, and they got free tickets to this thing.
Yeah, nobody gives a fuck about this match, including WWF. You know why? Because during the middle of this fucking feud, Todd Pettingale, they cut to get Todd Pettingale, and he's like, "Hey guys, we got country star Colin Ray over here," and he starts interviewing country star Colin Ray. I've never even heard of this guy, and he goes, "Hey Colin, can you sing for us a little bit?" It's like a lengthy interview in the middle of a fucking match. He's like,
Dude,
"Hey Colin."
they were
Oh my
so
god.
desperate for celebrities, but because I don't know, they stopped using celebrities. I don't think any celebrity wants anything to do with them. That they have this
No,
fuck.
but here's the thing: you don't need to be doing this in the
I
middle
know.
of a match.
because they're
That
insecure. It's insecurity.
oh my god. It's so like I totally get you needing celebrities, but don't do it in the middle of the match. It's just like
And also, this
it
guy's
just
not a celebrity.
yeah, he's not. Colin, I never heard of this guy. Never heard of this guy. So there's no heat at all. The fans don't care. WWF doesn't care. Todd Pettengill sure don't give a fuck. And then Goldust starts firing up the crowd. Goldust, he's a fantastic wrestler, and he noticed the crowd does not give a shit, so he starts firing up the crowd. He mounts an offense, but then he gets crushed in the ropes, and then he also misses a top rope senton. So, um, Hunter's still kind of in charge. Mr. Hughes throws Triple H the belt, and he starts distracting the referee. And as this is happening, Hunter goes and he grabs Marlena and he kisses her. And Goldust somehow gets the belt and he hits Hunter with the belt. But before while Goldust is making the cover, Hughes makes the saves and he gets on the apron, and then Goldust shoves him off the apron. And when that happens, Hunter attacks Goldust from behind, hits the pedigree to win the match. These two do not have good chemistry together. I think this is back when Goldust was admittedly when Dustin Rhodes was admittedly on drugs, and you could see he's just doesn't care. He's not like in the right state of mind, even though he's still a good wrestler. There's parts where he just like he's slow and he just doesn't care. C minus, terrible opening match, terrible.
I also think because now at this point, Hunter is basically Shawn Michaels' right hand man. Because Shawn Michaels, at this point, remember, Shawn Michaels is in Vince's office demanding to have China hired.
Yes.
I also think, I watched this match, I think Triple H purposely didn't try to make Dustin. Like he wanted Dustin to look bad. Because I think he knows him and Dustin and a couple of other guys are at a crossroads. And get it? Hey, did it. They're at a crossroads where Vince is going to believe in some of you, and Vince is going to be like, not for the rest of you. And I think he goes out of his way to make Dustin look bad. That's my theory. Um, I
Overall,
also
not a good
think
match, though, right?
I also think Dustin at this point should have gave up being Gold Dust and went back to being the natural, because then at the end of '97, when he turns on Marlena and becomes the artist formerly known as Gold Dust, it would have got more over because now he's returning to the insanity of Gold Dust. I think once he tells Jerry Lawler, "I'm not gay," then why are you dressed like a fucking idiot? We all know that you're Dusty Rose's son. Just go back to that, and I think that would have helped him out more as well. But they didn't do that, so.
Yeah. Overall, terrible opening match.
Yeah, not good.
Uh,
Not good.
yeah, not good at all. Then we go to the back. We get a promo by Bret Hart in the locker room talking about, hey, man, I'm a marked man. I'm a marked man. Everybody's going for me at this Royal Rumble. But you know what? At the Royal Rumble, I'm going to be the last man left standing. Then we get a promo by Mankind, and he's like, I'm not in the Rumble to win this match. I'm in the Rumble because it's a chance to hurt lots of people at one time. And he's like, I'm gonna hurt people, and Mankind had a superior promo, but then Junior just goes, "Wow," and I'm like, "That's it? That's your fucking reaction to this guy saying he just wants to hurt? Like, yeah, you're an idiot. You don't care either, Junior." Then we go back to the ring, and we
Mm-hmm.
get PG-13 coming out, rapping the Nation of
Yeah,
Domination theme. I like this a lot. I wish they had kept this going for a long time. I just like it's just funny, just two white guys just rapping this, the Nation of Domination. Do you like this?
I love it. I love these goofy guys rapping danger. I like goofy people rapping dangerous people to the ring because they're doing their goofy shit. They're doing like their goofy dancing, and then Farouk and Crush and Savio are like they're just all business. They're all just like whatever. Fucking where's our opponents? Let's fucking go.
Yeah, yeah, that's why I like it too.
Yeah,
It's a fun,
because you get
it's a
this,
fun juxtapose. Yeah,
you get the sports entertainment, and you get that these guys are going to hurt people at the same time.
I think the reason why PG-13 doesn't last
Right?
is
Apparently, they rub a lot of people the wrong way, according to Bruce Pritchard.
yeah, and I think they also were very what is his name? JC Ice.
Yeah.
He's like You know who his father is, right?
I think you told me this already. Who?
You thought this guy was a waste. Bill Dundee.
Oh yeah, well he is a waste. Oh, so he's Jamie
Yeah,
Dundee. He's Jamie
yeah,
Dundee.
Jamie Dundee. Yeah, it's JC Ice is Jamie Dundee.
Jamie Dundee's a waste as well.
Yeah,
Um,
his it's his father, and um, Jamie Dundee, even to this day, he's like a fucking drug addict, right? And I think I read a story where they like house show they missed it or some shit. You know, because they're just getting drunk or waking up too late, and they were just like, "Why are we having these guys around?" So that's ultimately, I think, what happened, which is
I
unfortunate.
also I also think they wouldn't have worked when The Rock takes over. I think The Rock, like all the
Yeah,
things he
uh huh.
brings to the table, The Rock brings that, and he doesn't need to be. He just the way, just Rock like walking out brings what they have. So,
Yeah, yeah. But ultimately, it would have been cool watching PG-13 break away from the Nation of Domination or something. But we're not gonna get that. But
they
I'm
should.
gonna
They, you know
enjoy it.
what?
Mhm.
You know what? They should have tried to re. I just they should. First of all, the Acclaim should get back together like tomorrow. They should have the Acclaim like join the Death Riders and rap out the Death Riders.
That yeah, I would. But it'll only be Max Caster. Anthony Bowens doesn't rap.
He just does his dance or something. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, well,
By the
for
way,
this,
the Acclaim should get. They should put the Acclaim back together.
yeah. But for now, I'm enjoying this PG-13. Uh, before this match, one thing that WWF is still doing pretty well at this point, they're doing the
Yeah,
recaps because
yeah.
nobody's watching the show. So if you're like, hey, I know you're
You
just
better
tuning
recap.
into the Royal Rumble, let's catch you up. What happened? Basically, a recap of Ahmed Johnson. What a rising star! He wins the Slammy Awards. He won the Kuwaiti Cup. Then he wins the Intercontinental Championship. What a banger rookie year! And then he runs into Farouk. And then Farouk, a few just really cripples this guy. And that's what this match is. Match number 2, Farouk versus Ahmed Johnson. Ahmed Johnson attacks Farouk right away. And Ahmed starts whipping Farouk with a belt. Farouk shoves D'Lo Brown, who is actually one of the militant guys, extras in
Mhm.
Nation of Domination. So yeah, D'Lo's in Nation of Domination early as fuck.
I love it. I love
Yeah,
D'Lo.
yeah, he gets shoved into Ahmed Johnson, who shoulder blocks him down. Then Farouk slams Ahmed onto a chair on the floor. Then Farouk hits Ahmed Johnson with the chair, attacks Ahmed's kidney area because that's what he was out with. He had some kind of kidney problem. Ahmed Johnson starts fighting back with an electric chair drop, but Farouk hits his awesome spine buster. But Ahmed answers back, hits his own spine buster. And then the Nation of Domination members are going like, this is not looking good for Farouk. So they all start coming in the match, coming into the ring. Ahmed starts beating up on all of them. And the referee has no choice but to call for disqualification because Nation of Domination members are coming in. Uh, he goes after Farouk, but Nation of Domination members uh, hits him from behind and stuff. So a member, what do you call it, hit Ahmed from behind. I don't know who this guy is. I'm assuming he's like a wrestler, a local wrestler. It's not D'Lo Brown. It's a guy wearing like the bow tie and shit. Ahmed kind of like stalks him, and then on the steel steps, he picks him up and hits the Pearl River plunge uh, on the guy through the French announce table. That's a cool looking spot. But this match sucked. C. This is not a good match.
It's just you know, as a kid, I thought his rivalry made a lot of sense, and it's one of the rivalries people remember from this era. But they didn't have chemistry in the ring. They just didn't.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
It's
they
it's
should
a
have.
fun it's a fun visual of a match, but they do not have chemistry either. They don't, yeah.
Ahmed, they kind of get Ahmed just gets lost in this nation vortex until he fucking leaves. His last match is against the nation in a year from now, his last match, and it's like, bro, they should have just maintained what they were doing with making him a top guy and having him because that Goldust match that he had was pretty good, and he's good in that 6 man, and he just gets swept up in this Farouk vortex, and he never recovers. His life never recovers.
His life never recovers. Exactly right. His
And
life
it's
never
like,
recovers.
bro, it's like you had the right idea, and then you fucked it up.
That's true. That should that sh- that one feud, it did fucking ruin his entire life. That's
Dude, the
insane,
Goldust
right?
match was good at King of the Ring. Like I'm not like imagining it. It's fucking good.
That's that's insane how one match legit like ruins his life. That's
Oh, it's
very funny
huge.
to think about it.
Because they just
That's very
never.
funny thinking about
Dude, I
it.
remember when I got back into so I get back into wrestling in January of '98, right? And I'm like, and when I saw the card for No Way Out, Ahmed Johnson, a bunch of other guys fight the Nation. I'm like, dude, has he been fighting the Nation for like 7 years? How long has this feud been going on? Like, even I was like, whoa, what the fuck? Okay, we have a lot of time to talk about this, but we'll talk about it later.
Yeah. So
Next,
after this, we go to the back. It's Terry Funk, the legend
yes,
Terry Funk. He's cutting a promo. He says
there's
Texas.
another bringer producer at this show.
Yeah, yeah. He's another guest spot. What do you call it? They're trading spots here, Booze.
Yeah.
Terry Funk says, "Hey, Texas is my state, and I was born to rumble." So he's ready for the Royal Rumble. Then Todd Pettengill, we see him again. Todd Pettengill, by the way, he's got a new look. I should have mentioned this. He's got a shaved head. He's got a goatee. It does not look good on him. Anyway, he's with the Nation of Domination, and Farouk starts yelling at his members of Nation of Domination. He's like, "Why did you guys let for Ahmed take a do that to that one guy? Ahmed Johnson, you're an Uncle Tom." You know what I like about this visual of a Nation of Domination? There's like all these people in this group. There's like this woman, this random woman, right? There's a random woman. There's the two white rappers. Just they're just like always like, yeah, I don't like what's happening. They're like nodding their heads. They never speak. They only rap and then they never get to speak, which I love. Then there's all these other dudes just standing there with the fucking bow tie. And then there's Clarence Mason. And then there's Crush. Like this group is awesome. I love this group. This is so
Dude,
fucking
the Nation of Domination was such a good was it's very underrated. It's a such an
yeah,
under, I would put it in my top 10 factions of all time, maybe top five. I really could think about it, because if you think about it, this launches the biggest wrestling superstar in the world, and but it's so ridiculous, and it has such swag. That's the thing about the Nation of Domination. It always has swag to it. You know what I'm saying? Like it has a
yeah.
vibe. They seem
Mhm.
like cool fucking dudes. And even if the matches suck, it's just fun watching them walk to the ring. Like I could, and then the other cool thing, and we talked about this before, the beat from that entrance,
Yeah.
that beat becomes the Rock's theme song.
So actually, I listened to there's that video online that shows you the evolution of
The Rock's theme.
the Rock's theme, and what ends up happening is the Rock in his Rocky Maivia thing. What they do is they kind of tweak it to match a little bit of the Nation of Domination beat, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it's actually what it is this when he's Rocky Maivia, there's these little guitar sounds that they carry over into his heel Nation of Domination theme, Rock's own personal theme, and it's a combination of the Nation of Domination theme and the Rocky Maivia, those guitar thing. They put it together and it becomes the Rock's thing. But it's like, yeah, it's a still at the end of the day, it is a variation of the Nation of Domination's original theme. It is a good song. It's like you know what it sounds? It's like a wrestling song. It just sounds like wrestling,
You know what I
and
like about Jim Johnson though, and you can see this in the Austin theme too, as he would make subtle changes to the theme as the wrestler became a bigger deal, and that
yeah,
says to the audience, he's so smart with that. Like they don't do that anymore, but like every time the Rock and we're gonna see this as we're watching, every time the Rock becomes a bigger deal, the theme gets adjusted a little bit more and more and more
yeah.
until now. Like if the Rock were to come out, on SmackDown, the place would be molten, because it's just like they don't do that anymore, man. They don't do stuff like that anymore. They don't evolve things.
Yeah. If you guys want to know, just Google Nation of Domination like 1996 if you can, and the visual of just like there's so many people in this group that
Yeah,
do nothing, but you're right, just watching them walk out, it's so cool. It's
yeah.
fantastic.
I love the Nation, man. The
I love
Nation
the
is so underrated. So
It's so underrated.
I
Yeah,
think it's
so
better than
underrated.
DX. What do you think about that, Triple H? You big nose
It is.
fucking fraud.
Nation of Domination is way better than DX. 100%. I agree. I agree. Um,
Not as good as the NWO, but it's better than DX.
no, NWO.
I think that's the best one ever.
Dude, NWO has to be like the dude. NWO is better than Four Horsemen.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it. NWO is better than Four Horsemen.
I
Stable
think the
wise,
NWO is the best thing ever.
yeah, it's got to be the top. Yeah, that
You know what?
or
What's the thing with factions? And you want to talk about the storyline and stuff? Like we can go there. Or like, because what faction had the best? The
it's
best, like
got to
beginning of
also be the impact that they carry.
the
You know?
impact. But I also think a thing about the thing about a faction that makes it cool is the swag factor. And what I mean by that is when the NWO or the nation walks out, you know it's fucking business. You know, like shit is about to go down, and you better pay attention to the TV show. And it's fun. And you know, like you could maybe make an argument that I don't know that evolution at least had a beginning, middle, and end. The cool factor isn't there, brother. Not like the
No,
name.
it's not. I actually think Evolution, like it was cool when it started, but it really wasn't that like impactful or great. You
It
know?
just feels like it feels like Triple H jerking off. But
Yeah,
let's
yeah. Because you know what? Here's the thing: Batista and Randy Orton. I feel like they could have got to where they got to even without Evolution. That's
I
why
think
I don't.
I think Randy
Yeah,
Orton been a bigger star without Triple H.
yeah. I feel like they could have got. They were like those two guys. They were gonna get there anyway, and like
Yeah.
so it didn't matter that it's like, oh well, Evolution launched those two stars. I'm like, they would have been stars anywhere. That's not the point, Like so, I don't agree with it. But here's another guy who well, actually we gotta move on. I want to talk about this one. This one I really want to talk about. Match number 3, guys. It's Vader. Vader who comes out with a V on his ass.
Vader
On his,
Tab.
yeah, on his ass, his tights,
Vader
versus
Tab.
versus the Undertaker. Yeah. Um.
First,
So this, I don't know why they have this in this match, but in this thing in the arena they have this giant like halo looking like setup in the middle of the ring, above the ring, and it comes down really low during the entrances. What is that thing?
I think it's for this the pyro shit.
Oh, I was like, and it goes back up, and I'm like, it's very distracting. I don't know what it was. But when Undertaker comes out, you see it visual, like it's big, and even Jared King Lawler's like, what is that? A flying saucer? Like, just like this big fucking thing comes down, and it's like hovering right over everyone's head. It's very weird. Anyways, moving along, let's get right to this match. So Undertaker, he's getting knocked down by Vader, but he no sells everything. He just keeps getting back up, getting back up. The slow, methodical Undertaker way. Then Undertaker does a high leg drop on a crouching Vader. He slams Vader, hits another high jumping leg drop on Vader. So Undertaker has the edge early on, but then when he's doing that old school rope walk, he gets crotched on the ropes. And then there's a low blow, but the referee sees it and just does nothing. I'm like, all right, okay. It's just like one of those matches. Um, while this match is happening, Todd Pettengill, he's with a fan.
Oh, that was insane.
Yeah, this is like okay, this is like the earlier with the fucking country music legend Colin
This
Ray.
poor girl looks like she's about to have a stroke that she's on TV.
Yeah, I get like why you want to do this, but you don't need to do this like during the match. Like I don't understand why they feel like they had to do this shit during the match.
But
I just don't.
also, why do it in the middle? Because Vader and Undertaker really are hitting each other. Like Vader's
Yeah,
doing
that's what I'm saying. Why are you doing
cut
this?
to this little girl who's saying that like she babysits so she can follow Shawn Michaels around, and it's like
Yeah,
this. You should have this girl before the Shawn Michaels match. That's what you
exactly. That's a good point. So yeah, okay, so yeah, if you're gonna put it in a match, put it in the Shawn Michaels match. So basically, let me I should fully explain for the listeners. So the rest Undertaker and Vader are still fucking hitting each other. They're still fighting. They're still wrestling. And during the middle of this match, we cut to Todd Pettengill, who's with this little girl, like he's like a teenager, at best.
15, 16 at the most.
Yeah, yeah. And she's a fan. She's a super fan. Her name is Summer Bishop, and she loves Shawn Michaels. She follows Shawn Michaels everywhere. And then Todd's like, "Oh, how are you paying for all this?" And she's like, "I save all my money from babysitting." And I'm like, you know what? This is great. This lets the fans at home know that Undertaker versus Vader doesn't mean shit. That's what it's telling me. It means nothing. So Undertaker, he kicks out of a power. He gets hit with a powerbomb. He kicks out of it. He no sells it. He starts beating up on Vader. He choke slams him, and then Paul Bearer shows up. Paul Bearer is aligned with Vader, and Undertaker attacks Paul Bearer, and he turns. Then he turns attention back onto Vader, and then he got on the floor. He goes back outside, and he tries to attack Paul Bearer, and he jumps at him, but Vader, but actually no, they're on the floor. He turns his attention back on Vader. They fight on the floor, and then he puts him against the rail, tries to jump on Vader, but Paul Bearer pulls Vader out of the way. So Undertaker hits the rails. Then Paul Bearer. This is the Paul Bearer, by the way, at this point got really fat. All right, he's already like he was always fat. He was always fat, but in 1997, in January 1997, he's like really fat, right? So Paul Bearer, Undertaker's like lying on the floor. Paul Bearer is on the apron, and he's got the urn, and he jumps down and hits Undertaker with the urn, but his weight like is too much, and he just fucking falls, and he hits his head against the rail and everything. I thought Paul Bearer broke his legs. That's how bad I was. Anyways, Vader hits the Vader bomb to win the match. Afterwards, Vader leaves with Paul Bearer, and Undertaker gets up. He's all annoyed because the referee was a shitty referee. He let low blows and fucking Paul like earn shots go. So he choke slams the referee for being a shitty referee. It's not the referee's fault. This was a shitty match. I gave this a D. This is a D match. It's awful.
I don't think it's that good, but I also kind of think that the production team heard it, and I think Paul Bearer heard it, and they wind up having a great match in July. So stay tuned for that news.
Okay, I guess we'll have to see it. I'll have to believe it when I see it. Here's a guy who's kind of cool. Steve Austin. He's walking in the hallway. He's doing the walking talk promo, right? The camera's following, and he's cutting a promo on the King of the Ring. And after him, we get his arch rival, Davey Boy Smith, who's coming from the parking lot to the arena. He's also doing a walking talk promo.
I'm bizarre. That line is famous. That's a famous internet meme when he says, "I'm bizarre." Did you hear that?
I'm bizarre?
He says, "I'm gonna win because I'm bizarre."
What do you call it? Both men will be in the Rumble. Let's go to match number 4. Wow, what an interesting match. This is a 6-man tag match. We got
worlds are colliding 29 years ahead of time.
Yes. Way ahead of the WWE TNA AAA Worlds Collide show that's going to happen this Saturday. We got the 6-man tag of Jerry Estrada, Fuerza Guerrera, who is Juventud Guerrera's father, Heavy Metal,
okay.
yeah, versus Connect, Hector Garza, and Pero Aguayo Sr. All right.
The father of Angel Garza.
No, Hector Garza is not the father of Angel Garza. Hector Garza is the uncle of Angel Garza and Humberto Carrillo.
You know what? He fucked his brother's wife in his back.
Yeah, Hector Garza was fantastic. I love Hector Garza. When I used to watch him in the CMLL, it was fantastic. He died early from cancer. He died in his 40s or something, or 30s. Wow. Yeah, it was pretty sad. Anyways, this is going to be a luchador match. Even the referee is Pepe Casas, who is the famous referee in Lucha Libre. He is the guy who has all these sons who are wrestlers, including Heavy Metal. Heavy Metal is one of Pepe Casas' sons. And Heavy Metal is actually going to be the one of the ones who start the match with against Hector Garza. Jim Ross tells us, Perro Aguayo's son actually wrestled in this pay per view as well in a dark match, and he's only 17 years old. He's got lots of potential. For those of you who do not know Perro Aguayo Jr., that guy was fantastic. He really was like he's gonna blow up in a scene later on, and he's and also the guy who Rey Mysterio kills in legit real life. Yeah. So Paraguayos Jr. wrestled in Royal Rumble 1997 a dark match when he was 17 years old. I wish that match is a tape, then I could see it. Actually, that'd be
It's
pretty cool.
tape. It's just they haven't put out. They tape. Of course, they taped it. It's the Royal Rumble. But,
Then you know what? You know the WWE Vault, on
yeah,
YouTube, they should release that. That'd be pretty cool.
they
Um,
should. Dude, the crowd is like dead silence for this. Dead
Yeah,
silence.
yeah, because people don't know them. Even though in San Antonio, people don't really know them. Hector Garza at Heavy Metal, they do some really cool high spots, like some dangerous high spots. And you know what? The fans don't care. There's no reaction. It's like you're
Okay.
doing it for no reason. Forza Guerrera and Aguayo, they start hitting each other hard, and Forza falls through the ropes to the floor really hard. There's no reaction. Hector Garza hits his tornillo, his finishing move that he's famous for, to Estrada on the floor, which does get a slight reaction. Paraguayo hits his top rope double foot stomp called La Lanza on Heavy Metal to win the match. There was so little noise to this that when you watch it on the network, the reaction that you hear after the match ends is noticeably piped in crowd noise. It's not
Oh, because I
listen.
watched on the DVD. I have the DVD of it, and it's silent the entire time. They
Okay, so
must
if you watch
have.
it, yeah, if you watch it on Peacock, the ending has crowd reactions, right? Like oh, like the pop when the match is over, and you can tell it's not real. Like it's
Do
piped in.
you think when they bought AAA, they were like, we have one stipulation. Royal Rumble 97. We want you to add crowd noise, and then we will sell to you. Triple H.
30 years later, we'll sell you the company.
We want the people. This. There's only one reason why this match was on here. There's only one reason, and Bruce Pritchard can say no, Vince McMahon can say no, and you can say no. But I know it to be true. Rey Mysterio Jr. He's the reason why they put this match on. They knew Rey was part of the reason why. Rey Mysterio is part of the reason why WCW was kicking their ass. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. That's one of the reasons. And it just didn't work. For some reason, WCW crowds were there for Hulk Hogan, Roddy Piper, but they could be won over by these type of matches. WWF crowds just these guys could have shot each other. They're not going to react. They're just not going to react.
Yeah, but they're also booking. WWF is also booking the wrong people.
Yeah.
Forza Guerrera and Paraguayo Senior are already fucking old men. Why are they in this fucking match? Like you talk about Rey Mysterio and WCW. Dude, Forza's son Juventud is wrestling on WCW's pay-per-views, right? Rey Mysterio is young. You're telling me to retaliate, WWF is booking the father? Like
Yes, you want to
that's
know why? You want to know why? Because
stupid.
they think
Yeah,
a Mexican is a Mexican.
yeah, that's why. That's why. And it's like here's the thing. They were moving while they were still good for their age, they're moving slower because they're older. I listened to the something to wrestle with Bruce Pitchard, and he talks about how the one guy they wanted from this whole group was Hector Garza, right? Hector Garza, I believe, eventually does show up in WCW,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yes,
then I actually start really seeing him in TNA. TNA, he blows up huge. He
yes, he
gets
does. Yes, that is true.
then and then he gets caught with steroids and he's never allowed back in the country. And then he goes in Mexico. He becomes a huge star in CMLL, creating a unbelievable stable with Paraguayo Jr. You know how actually we talk about stables. Perros del Mal is one of the best stables of all time. You know how big it was? They created their own wrestling promotion, legit. They left. They said, "Why are we giving you guys money? Let's make our own promotion." They do that. It becomes huge. Both Hector and Perro are going to be in it. Um, Unfortunately, Hector dies young. Yeah, but yeah, unfortunately, This match doesn't have it. C plus
No,
at best.
no, but because I think in Vince's mind and in their racist minds, all these guys, including Jim Ross and Jim Cornette, they're like, well, WCW's got a Mexican. We'll put our own Mexicans. Mexican's a Mexican. Do your
Mexican
flips.
women. That's exactly probably what they're thinking.
Flips. What?
Yeah. That's probably exactly what they're doing. Oh, just
Yeah.
don't do a couple of flips. Yeah.
Rey
We're four
Mysterio,
matches in.
Rey Mysterio, watching this match, and I'm sure like Hector Garza is a great wrestler. But Rey Mysterio has that something that Sid has, that Ultimate Warrior has, that a lot of people have. That charisma you can't teach. And
The it factor. The it factor.
the it factor, and you put in what a great worker he is, it's must see TV. I don't give a fuck what Eric Bischoff says. I don't give a fuck what Kevin Nash says. I don't give a fuck what Rey Mysterio says. Those matches are a factor in why they were destroying Raw. Those 1,000%.
Absolutely, absolutely. So
Mm-hmm.
Ray, in this Royal Rumble so far, we're 4 matches in. I can't. None of these matches are good, and there's only 2 more matches left. So hopefully these next 2 matches save the show. We're gonna go into the penultimate match, which is actually the Royal Rumble itself. It is not headlining this pay-per-view. So I'm gonna just talk through all the important stuff that happens.
So
Feel
let's
free to chime in every
really
time.
quick,
Yeah.
really quick. Let's. You want to? Do you want to know the reason why Stone Cold won this Rumble?
No, actually, why don't you tell me at the end?
Okay, all right,
Yeah.
all right. Because
Okay.
this is a very very weird Rumble. This and what and it's not that good of a Rumble. It's very weird. And this, but the crazy thing is, most of the people who are going to take them to the promised land are in the match. So
Yeah. So like I said, I'm gonna just talk about the stuff that happens, and you feel
okay.
free to chime in anytime you want. What we normally do. First 2 in the match, Crush and Ahmed Johnson. They just have so they're fighting because Crush is Nation of Domination.
And
Number
Ahmed
three,
can't escape the nation. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, he's still in that vortex. Number 3, it's fake Razor Ramon uh who gets
Oh,
eliminated right away by Ahmed Johnson.
dude, that was the boos for him were the loudest the crowd was the whole night at this point. They were like,
Yeah.
fuck this.
Yeah. They got him out of there right away. So Ahmed Johnson, as soon as he eliminates Razor Ramon, he sees Farouk in the aisle, so he eliminates himself. He goes over the top row to chase down Farouk. So Ahmed's also out of this fucking match now.
Dude, you want to hear something? Hold on, before you continue, you want to hear something crazy? You want to hear something
Yeah,
really crazy? So I rented this when I got back into wrestling. I rented the VHS tape, and then I eventually bought it. So I own the VHS tape. And if you look at the back, it has the matches listed, and then it has the Rumble, and it goes 30 of the biggest superstars in WWE today, and it lists some names, and it goes Bret Hart, Steve Austin, fucking Mankind, and then it goes Razor Ramon Diesel, not fake
uh,
Razor Ramon, not fake. So I'm like, they're trying to fool some kid who like vaguely watches wrestling. Like, oh my god, Razor and Diesel are in this. Like, all right, then.
do you think they were doing that, or do you think they were doing it for the lawsuit reason, or probably a combination of both?
A combination of both. They
Yeah,
knew they could fool some people by putting Razor Ramon and Diesel are in the match. Yeah.
yeah, it's terrible. Hey, you know what?
And,
Junior needed that money. He needed that money, Oos. Right? He needed Jimmy's $20. So number 4 is Phineas Godwin. Right now I felt like I was watching WCW. Like, there's just so many issues. Like, they're having clock problems, so you can't even see the countdown clock. They're like, "Oh, we're having clock issues. There's no countdown clock." Number 5 is Steve Austin, right?
oh hell yeah!
Yeah. And guess what? Steve Austin, he is bumping for Phineas. Phineas is fucking hitting him, and he's bumping all over the place. I was like, this is fucking awesome. This is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause he's Austin, the persona, but he's not Austin yet. Like, he's still like taking a bumps and shit. Like, he's being a heel. He's getting his ass kicked, right? Phineas tosses Crush out for the 3rd elimination, but then he turns around and he eats a stunner from Stone Cold Steve Austin, and then Austin tosses out Phineas for the 4th elimination.
I'll say this for Phineas. Since we've started doing this podcast, Phineas is the first person to really properly sell the Stone Cold Stunner. He
Yeah,
makes it look like a death match. So I got to give that to Phineas because I feel like there was a meeting and they said everyone copy what Phineas did.
yeah, possibly, yeah. Maybe everyone saw it. I was like, yeah, that was pretty good. Uh, Bart Gunn, he gets into the ring for the sixth entrance, and he gets eliminated right away, clotheslined out of the ring by Austin for the fifth elimination. Austin is now alone. He's alone in the ring, so he sits
Oh,
on the
he does a great thing where he checks his watch, his fake
yeah,
watch.
yeah, he sits on the turnbuckle, yeah, and he looks at his wrist like going like pretending he's looking at his wristwatch, going like, where's everybody? Huh, I'm waiting. The count we finally get the countdown clock back. And number seven, it is Jake the Snake Roberts. Um this part was funny as hell to me. When Austin sees Robert, he starts doing the mocking the prayer, like, oh, I'm a religious guy in the ring. I was like, that's so funny. Austin's so
I do like, and I've always liked this since I saw this in 1998. This show, I do like the continuity of Jake is going to try to get some revenge. Like it's not just like Austin beat the shit of this guy, then he goes away. He's back on this other big show to be like, remember me? I'm gonna attempt. He's not gonna succeed. I'm gonna
okay.
try to get some revenge.
Yeah, like
You're not just gonna make your career on my corpse and move on. I'm fucking back.
so you said this was a very real weird rumble and you didn't like it. I actually did like this rumble, and this is one of the reasons why. From this point on, the story it's like a story about Steve Austin. All his old rivals all start showing up, right? And
Yeah,
this
that's
is
true.
the beginning. This is the beginning with Jake Roberts, right?
I just
Anyway,
felt like the work once the ring gets filled, the work doesn't isn't that good. Also, I do think that this finish does a lot of damage to the Rumble concept, and the reason for the finish, which we'll get to when we get there, um, is fucking stupid. But we'll get into it. So keep going, keep going.
anyways, when Jake Roberts goes in there, he pretty much quickly gets dumped out by Steve Austin for the sixth elimination. Number eight is Davey Boy Smith, another person Austin has problems with, and yeah, and he starts beating the shit out of Austin. This is the part where it starts getting a little yeah. Number nine is Peruth from AAA. Number 10 is the Sultan. It's not Sabu, but Rikishi. It comes out with the Sheik. Yeah, it comes out with the Sheik. Number 11 is Mil Mascares, who does get a pop because he's actually recognizable.
Is he still alive?
Good question. Is Mil Mascares still alive? He is, by the way, for those of you guys know, Alberto Del Rio's uncle. Mil Mascares
He's
is
also
still fucking alive. He's 82 years old. My goodness. This is amazing.
Dude, I knew him. I knew him as a kid. Like I knew his name as a kid. Like he is a legend among legends.
He
And
is a legend. He is a legend. Yeah, he is like
it's not good in the ring, but he's a legend. You know the Bruce Pritchard thing, right? No yabs, no
no
yabs.
Yab. Yeah, no Yab. Yeah. But that's kind of like why he is a legend because he didn't job a lot, you know?
Same thing, Roddy Piper.
Yeah. And here's the thing with Mil Mascares. He is like he's a Hall of Famer, even WWF Hall of Fame, right? WWE Hall of Fame?
Yeah, Alberto Del Rio put him in. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, this guy's like a legit legend. So he does get a reaction here. People do proper
He's like one of the last. He's like, you know, there's like, when I was growing up in the 80s and 90s, I'm told about Bruno Sammartino. I'm told about Harley Race. I'm told about Mil Mascares. I'm told about Lou Thez. He's like the last of those guys. Like when he goes, that's it. Like you got to give him respect. I don't give a shit that he stings as a worker. You got to give him respect.
Yeah. So after that, number 12 is Hunter Helmsley. He comes out. And then Davey, he tosses out the Sultan for the seventh elimination. Number 13 is Owen Hart. And Owen Hart eliminates Davey Boy Smith for the eighth elimination. Davey's
that sets up their big match at the European Raw.
So. Yeah, so Davey, he's on the floor and he's like, "What the hell was that, Owen? What are you doing?" And Owen Hart's complaining that it was an accident. I was trying to eliminate the other guy who you were trying to eliminate. You was an accident, but they show you a replay. It definitely wasn't, and that's going to lead to their feud, as Ray mentioned. 14th is Goldust. 15 is another AAA guy, Cibernetico, who's only 20 years old here. Cibernetico, he'll become a huge star in AAA in the 20.
Yeah, I love Cibernetico.
Yeah, so, but not here, not yet.
Not yet. No yaps.
Number 16 is Mark Merrill. And after Mark Merrill comes
finally a real star.
Yeah. Finally, after Mark Merrill comes out, Mil Mascares, he dumps out Cibernetico and Perut for the 9th and 10th. But then,
the legend, brother. Come on.
Then Mil Mascares climbs at the top of rope, top turnbuckle, and then he dives onto those two guys, thus eliminating himself from the Royal Rumble.
Which was his idea.
Was his idea. Yes. Why was it his idea?
Because no yaps.
Yeah.
No yaps.
Yes. No one is going to eliminate Mil Mascares. He is going to eliminate himself.
You know what? It's so funny because the story, like, if he's winning, he speaks perfect English. So it's like, hey, Mil Mascares, we want you to come in and we want you to like beat Shawn Michaels in 3 seconds. He's like, oh yeah, sure, I'll be there. But if you're like, help Mil Mascares, can you come in and lose to Shawn Michaels? Okay? Huh? What? No. What? ¿Cómo se dice? What? Like, it's
that's hilarious.
What a carny. I love it, man.
Yeah, such a carny.
Dude, you know what'd be funny if John Moxley started, like, someone like, yeah, I told you something about Keith Lee, right? That he just leaves when Tony Khan says you have to lose.
Tony Khan says it and he just
What if Keith Lee just went like, no speak English?
Oh, that is funny. It's a really funny thing. It's so fucking like anyways, getting back to this. Goldust, he eliminates Hunter for the 12th elimination. So this feud between these two guys is not over. What?
It's gonna go to they have a match at WrestleMania.
Yeah. Number 17 is Latin Lover. And this guy, he's another AAA legend. He actually has his own podcast in Mexico, I think. It's really, really popular. And he is, I believe he even has a job. Like he still does stuff with AAA right now. Like he's like,
maybe he'll be at Worlds Collide this weekend.
That would be awesome if he was, because he was in the first Worlds Collide, right? And he's still with the company. I like Latin Lover, and I used to watch Latin Lover. He was older. He's all right.
Worlds Collide, by the way, is going to be on YouTube. It's not like anyone can watch it live.
Yeah. Latin Lover, this guy, is he still work for AAA? Let's find out. Oh, I'm sure he does. Anyways, going back to this Latin Lover, so he's in the ring and he kicks Goldust on the ass really hard, which I thought was really funny. And then he kicks Owen Hart really hard. And then Owen, he eliminates Goldust for the 13th elimination. 18 is Farouk. Farouk comes in, he dumps out the Latin Lover for the 14th elimination. Then Ahmed Johnson comes in, and he's going to eliminate, but he hates Farouk. So he comes in and he starts beating up Farouk with a 2x4.
That's because Farouk beat him up with that in an angle. Yes.
Yes. And Ahmed eliminates Farouk for the 15th elimination. So this is already kind of shitty because this shouldn't count because Ahmed was already
Farouk, in my mind, Farouk's the uncrowned champion in 1990.
Exactly, because he was eliminated by a guy who was already eliminated. Should not count. But I wonder if he did this. What?
They've done that in the past, and if you're already eliminated, you can't eliminate anyone. It doesn't count.
Yeah. I wonder if they put this in because of what's going to happen at the end, too.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, like to lessen the blow, like saying people who want to argue logic. Like, well, you shouldn't have counted. And be like, well, when it happens, like it happened earlier in the match, it is what it is. Referee just got to call it for what it is. Like, maybe that's why.
They do address this finish at the next pay-per-view, but
yeah, but it's not a completely fair like scenario.
Well, to be fair, who kind of fucking ruined everything is Shawn Michaels when he lost his smile. So
yeah,
he didn't in hindsight, he didn't ruin anything because
it all worked out at the end. It all worked out at the end.
But like he did kind of ruin everything in the moment. So.
Yeah. So, Ahmed Johnson chases Farouk to the back, so those two guys are gone. Now we return to the Austin show. Austin, he dumps out two of his old rivals, Owen Hart. Well, not Owen Hart, but like he has problems with Owen Hart. Yeah, and Mark Merrill. He dumps them both out, 16 and 17. And guess what? Austin is once again alone when all of a sudden comes his first rival, Savio Vega, for the 19th entrance. Yeah. And Savio just starts beating on Austin. I don't know if you guys remember this. When Austin first showed up in WWF, his first feud was with Savio Vega. And you know who won that feud? Savio Vega. Savio Vega came out on top, right? But now we see that over time, Austin has surpassed him. You know why? Because Austin hits the stun gun, and then he just eliminates Vega right away. Boom. 18th elimination.
Austin loves Savio Vega. Austin has given Savio Vega credit for him becoming who he became. And in a year, and I keep bringing this pay-per-view is actually pretty good, even though on paper it sounds like shitty. No Way Out, 98. Shawn Michaels is supposed to be an 8-man tag against Austin. Shawn Michaels can't do it. And Austin fights for Savio to be the replacement. And he wins. And because he goes, I want to work with Savio then. He loves, by the way, Savio Vega will be at Worlds Collide this weekend.
Yeah, actually, we want to talk about Savio a little bit. Yeah, so I did listen. I've heard Austin talk about Savio Vega, and Austin says Savio is super underrated, which I agree. He says Savio isn't given the credit for how good of a wrestler he was, and you know he was good because he was always a lot of people's first feud. Like that, they would give first guy to is like 1, 2, 3 Kid, because that's how you can tell if the guy can work or not. If you put someone solid in there, and if you're like, if nobody can work, if this guy can't work with the Kid, he can't work with anybody, right? And that's what Savio was. He was the litmus test. If you can't work with Savio, you can't work with anybody. And he doesn't get enough credit. And Austin has said that about him. Now, yes, he will be at Worlds Collide, which is fucking weird. He's Puerto Rican. Savio Vega is Puerto Rican.
But what if, hear me out, what if they're going to do a WWC versus AAA crossover?
With WWC? Oh.
Carlos Colon's company, which Savio works for.
I don't think they will.
How do you know? What if they bought WWC?
Okay, but I mean, I just thought it was weird that they're like, Savio Vega is going to be there. I'm like, oh, because he's Hispanic, they're all the same to you guys? Is that what it is? That's what it comes off as. That's what it comes off.
I'll speak for Triple H. Yes, they are. What's the problem?
Okay. All right.
I'm still celebrating Hispanics, Andrew Lee. Just like if we do a show at the Tokyo Dome, I want you there as a color commentator to celebrate Asian excellence. Are you gonna accuse me of being racist? I want to celebrate you in the Tokyo Dome with your people.
Oh, that's funny. That's probably what it is. I'll be like, yeah, okay, that's fair.
Andrew Leo, when we have a show in Thailand, I want you there for your people, please. What's the problem?
Yeah. Okay, so with Savio Vega, this is Austin's 6th elimination in this Royal Rumble so far. He's doing great. He's eliminating all of his former rivals, and everything.
It's kind of like what Ric Flair did in the '92 Rumble.
Yeah,
because Ric Flair took on Greg Valentine, he took on Kerry Von Erich, he took on Piper, he took on all his old rivals, and then won the belt. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Number 20 is. I wrote Double J. What the fuck is Double J?
Oh, it's Road Dogg. They were calling him Double J.
Oh, Jesse James. That's right.
Jesse James.
Yeah, he's Double J. Jesse James. Yeah, he comes in as number 20. Road Dogg Jesse. He's not called Road Dogg. He's just called Jesse James. That's why I put Double J. And they're calling him the real Double J or some shit like that.
Double J.
Yeah. But anyway, it doesn't matter. He gets eliminated 19th right away. So once again, now this is Austin's 7th elimination. He's alone again. He does that thing where he sits on the top turnbuckle going like, is this all you guys got? Yeah, I'm fucking like, come on, guys. This is nothing. This is a cakewalk. You call this a rumble? all of a sudden Bret Hart's music hits, right? At 21. And Austin's
By the way, really quick.
yes.
We move on from Road Dogg because we should move on. He's a bum. Did you see the Cora Jade interview? She said there's one person that was giving her a hard time that she didn't get along with.
It was Road Dogg?
I'm gonna predict it's Road Dogg.
Oh,
That's
I thought it would be like Terry Taylor.
no, I think it's Road Dogg. I think it's Road Dogg. Terry
Oh,
Taylor. Terry Taylor doesn't. I don't think he. I think he's kind of like he kind of has like so Jim Barnett had jobs. He's kind of protected. I think Terry Taylor doesn't have the hands-on that a Road Dogg does. Road Dogg also writes the shows. I'm gonna say it was Road Dogg. She had a problem. That's my theory. That's my thing.
you might be right. You might be right. By the way, speaking of Terry Taylor, because we're bringing him up, I read that he was slightly racist and that he was weird around women, kind of
Oh,
extra curvy.
Bischoff. Eric Bischoff doesn't really get on his podcast. Eric Bischoff doesn't really get into like office drama or like drama with who's fucks who, and I think he doesn't do it because he was like wife swapping in his private life, right? But he has confirmed that Terry Taylor was very weird around women,
Yeah.
and uh, and he's also said Eric Bischoff has said, and Conrad, I've never seen Conrad shit on Dave Meltzer. The reason why it's not more widely known is Terry Taylor was the main rat for Dave Meltzer.
Okay, and with that being all known, like if those rumors are true, that kind of explains why he was never a bigger deal than he should have been, in my
Well,
opinion. I think, right?
I see. I actually think he lucked out because he's had an office job in WCW. He had an office job in WWE. Then he went back and had an office job in WCW. Then he went and had an office job in TNA. And now he has an office job in WWE.
No, I
To this
meant
day,
like in ring. I meant like in ring.
but that doesn't matter because he's had influence over people for all these years. He's had a steady paycheck. He
Yeah,
probably had,
no,
yeah.
I know that, but what I'm saying is,
But like, I actually think that helped him because he's been an executive for how many
yeah,
years?
he's had a career more longevity in wrestling business than if he was probably a wrestler and just like was put. Because when I watched Terry Taylor, I was like, I feel like this guy should have been like at best upper mid card, but he wasn't even upper mid card. He was like low mid card, you know.
Jake
And
Roberts,
like
a lot of people don't like him, but
yeah,
unlike John Laurinaitis, who might be going to jail, this motherfucker was creepy towards women, and he's still there because
yeah, he was. I'm reading that a lot. A lot of people say he was creepy towards women. Yeah, yeah. So
I think Terry Taylor.
that's why I thought the Cora Jade thing was him.
No, I think now he's learned. I think now he's a snake, dude. You know what it is with a guy like him? He's a snake in the grass. What I mean, he knows when to pull back. So I guarantee you, when he saw like Louis C.K. and fucking all the other people get caught, he pulled shit back because he's like, you know what? Hunter's my boy. Regal's my boy. I got a job here for life. You know what? I'll just fucking pick up hookers and beat them to death. I don't need to fucking harass Corey. He's a survivor, man. He's
He
a
is.
guy.
He's a survivor. He is.
You talk shit about me. You could fucking go on your podcast and say I was a goof as the Red Rooster, but I still have a paycheck. And Corey Jade and fucking Tony Storm and fucking Jake Roberts, you don't. So suck my dick.
Tony Storm gets a paycheck. What are you talking about?
No, from WWE.
Oh.
I don't know. I'm just saying that like you can say he had no talent, but he has a steady income, and people with real talent don't.
So back in this Rumble, Austin's sitting on the buckle when Brett's music hits. Austin does have this shocked look on his face, but it's a little hokey, just a little, with the fucking oh my god, it's Bret Hart with the hands on the fucking head, you know?
No, is he still, dude? It's crazy how much The Rock and Austin learn in a year. Because when you watch them in the '98 Rumble, it's night and day.
Yeah. Anyways, Brett comes in and he just starts, remember, because this so all the other, so we're already 2/3 into the Royal Rumble.
Mhm.
Austin has fought off all his past rivals, and none of them have been on the level of opponent that he has, like he has with Brett as a rival. And Brett starts beating the shit out of him. Right? He could easily put away Davey Boy Smith, Jake Roberts, but he can't easily put away Bret Hart. Brett beats
Can.
on him, puts on the sharpshooter, and all of a sudden number 22 in this exciting moment is fucking Jerry King Lawler, Brett's rival, right? In
Real rival, yeah.
a way, it's kind of
It's
in a
really
way it's kind of like smart place to put Jerry King Lawler. Jerry King Lawler comes into the ring and it gets eliminated by Brett really quickly for the 20th elimination. Number 23 is Fake Diesel. It is Kane in a wig, I think.
yeah, it's Kane in a way.
Yeah. Number 24 is Terry Funk, who attacks Bret Hart. What do you call it? Who, like, I don't know. He just starts. Bret Hart actually saves Terry Funk, and then Terry Funk just starts attacking Bret Hart, and then hits him with that Texas pile driver move of his. But it looks sloppy. It doesn't look good when these two guys do it. Number 25 is Rocky Maivia, who goes right after Steve Austin right away, which I thought was kind of interesting. Like he's like the first guy he's going after, right?
Mhm.
And let me tell you
Bro,
something.
what I really, you know what I hope happens before The Rock and Austin like hang it up forever. I know. I really think they need to have, and maybe at WrestleMania this year, The Rock and Austin in the ring one more time, and Austin hits a stunner. I think people would start crying if that happened. They need to do it one last time.
Wait, a stunner? What did you say? They get in the ring and do what?
Like, like Rock's in the ring, Austin's in the ring. They both like come out for a match, like, and Austin hits a stunner on the Rock. Like, you know how like Undertaker, everyone thought Austin was going to come out at WrestleMania 40.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I think people would have started like crying hysterically, like people like out of joy, not out of sadness, but like
Yeah.
Austin needs to hit a stunner on the Rock at WrestleMania one last time. One
You
last
know
time.
what I want to? I would love for Austin and The Rock to have a sit down like interview, like a podcast interview.
Oh
Oh,
man,
and
it's
it's like 3 hours long, and it's got to be like 3 hours long. I would fucking listen to that thing, like they got to talk about everything. I would fucking love it. I would love
I
it.
think the reason why they didn't have they told Austin because they paid Austin for 40, but Austin told him to stay home. I think they realized they would have overshadowed Cody winning. The moment of Rock and Austin face to face in that ring would have been so huge. Like people would
Yeah.
have been. That's the that's the main reason I got a ticket for 40. I thought I was going to see Rock and Austin.
Yeah. So
So
so Rock goes right after Austin, and let me tell you something. Junior loves Rock. He loves the Rock here. He's hyping up Rocky. He's just like, "Oh, this is the third generation." Like, you were telling me like how you think Junior might be in love with Shawn Michaels, dude. I thought he was in love with Rocky Maivia. I
well,
was like, this guy
he should
is
have.
going
That's
on
the
and off about it. He's like, "Oh, he's the future." Oh, like I was like,
you
"All
know
right, dude."
you know who you know who else I
But you
think
know
funny
what? He's right. He's also right. He is the future. Yeah.
who I think though heard that and fucking put a kibosh was Shawn Michaels because Shawn Michaels is the reason he's the reason why the Rock's push went away.
Yeah. He's the one who what do you call it? You ever watch remember that show Young Rock?
Yeah,
Where
uh,
he has a character, I think his name was like something McFreeze or some shit like that. He gave him like a shitty name, Chad Frost. Chad Frost was the fake yeah, it was the fake character because Young Rock is a sitcom that Rock created about his actual life. And in the WWF, when he's coming out as a wrestler, there's a wrestler. Everyone is already there. Like Triple H is actually Triple H. Like everybody is a Stone Cold Steve Austin is Stone Cold Steve Austin in there, right? There's a Chad Frost, and in the episode, um, Chad Frost is really nice. He's
yeah,
really nice to Rock, but then Rock's little like writer, Brian Gerwitz or something like that character, right? He runs over to the Rock later on in the episode and he goes, Rock, I was just in the office with Vince McMahon going over like storylines, and you're not gonna believe who was shitting on you, dude. And he's like, Rock's like, who was shitting on me? He goes, it was Chad Frost, right? And like Rock's like, no, 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 forget it, get it. That guy's like, he told me like I could always turn to him for any, and he goes, no, dude, I'm telling you, I was in the fucking room and he's shitting on you. And like everybody was like, "Who is this Chad Frost guy?" But it is actually, it was Shawn Michaels actually. You know?
Can I tell you? Can I tell you my Rock Shawn Michaels story that not a lot of people know this? I don't know how this didn't. I don't know how this wasn't huge news. So I used to get the Pro Wrestling Torch, right? The newsletter from
Okay.
Wade.
Yeah, it's Wade. Yeah, Wade Killers. Yeah, yeah.
He got an interview with The Rock in January of 2000. He actually, so it was like a quick interview with The Rock, and
How did he get that? Wow.
he got sometimes he did get he interviewed Vince McMahon on one issue. He did get some people actually respect Wade Keller more than they respect Dave Meltzer. But he got The Rock. He got Jesse Ventura in '99. He got Paul Heyman 1 year. He got Vince Russo. Him and Vince Russo did a big interview. He would get people to sit down and talk to him. So he got The Rock in January of 2000. That's right before the Rumble, and it's a quick one. It's like 2 pages, and it's basically The Rock's kind of giving like corporate like answers,
Yeah.
and then Keller brings up, "Hey, Shawn Michaels super kicked you on the first SmackDown, and it seemed like there was an allegiance going, and then it was dropped. Why was it dropped? And don't you think it would be great if Shawn Michaels got healthy again, you two had a match?" And Rock starts the answer with, "I have no interest in ever having a match with Shawn Michaels. I will never have a match with Shawn Michaels. Right now, it's impossible because he's injured. But even if he wasn't, I wouldn't wrestle him. First of all, I got the storyline dropped." He says this in the interview. And second of all, he was very rude to my grandmother on a tour when he was younger. He held up my grandmother for money, and he was extremely rude to her. And I'll never forgive him for that. And I have no interest in working with Shawn Michaels. And it's a moot point because I don't know if he'll ever come back to the ring. But if he does, he won't be in the ring with me. He's fucking just, he doesn't like sugarcoat it. He doesn't like worry about the repercussions. He doesn't worry. He just fucking says it. And Wade Keller's like, "Oh, okay, next question."
Jeez.
Yeah. And
That,
I read that in 2000. I was like, Shawn Michaels must have no power left. That The Rock is just like going to go to a fucking dirt sheet and be like, "Hey, you can quote me? I'll never match with this fucking guy. He can go suck my fucking dick."
that is fucking awesome. I wish I could fucking read that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, here it is. I got some of it. It's from December 1999, December
Wow.
20th, 1999. So it's like right before 2000, a couple of days. It goes, Keller, I don't think Shawn Michaels' name has come up other than when we talked about the Survivor Series. What are your thoughts on him? Was he helpful to you? Was he a hindrance to you? Was he someone you learned from ever, even his mistakes? Did he set a good example? This The Rock says. He was not helpful to me. I never saw his help. I really have nothing to say about Shawn. Is that because you can't say something good? You don't want to say anything at all? Not necessarily. He was cordial to me as I was with him, but other than that, he doesn't know me well enough to speak of me. No, it's not it, I guess.
No, I think that's it. That's
Oh,
it.
but he goes, regardless, a fabulous athlete, a fabulous performer, and one of the best in the generation. If you agree with that to the degree, do you have a desire to work a top program with him? And then Rock says, no, I have no desire to work with Shawn, none whatsoever.
Okay. So yeah, so I kind of I kind listen. I remembered it pretty good. I read it once in December of '99. I remembered it. I got some stuff wrong, but dude, he
Mhm.
just lays it out. He just lays it out.
Yeah, in Bret Hart's autobiography, right? Um, he talks about how Triple H and HBK were trying to sabotage The Rock. Now, this is not what The Rock said. This is what Bret Hart wrote in his book, right? And Jericho has said that he has talked to The Rock because by this point, this Bret's autobiography came out and stuff The Rock's already a superstar. He's already a movie star. He doesn't talk about this wrestling stuff anymore, right? So there's no way for him to confirm this stuff. And Chris Jericho, he confirmed that he talked to Rock about this, and the Rock confirmed what Bret Hart said, and I believe that. Yeah, I mean,
I'm telling you, everything that's weird with the John Cena storyline, everything that like why wasn't The Rock at WrestleMania, it comes down to what's happening in January '97. It comes down to The Rock will never forgive Shawn Michaels, and I guarantee you, behind the scenes, The Rock is pushing for Triple H and Shawn Michaels to be thrown out.
yeah,
And
I hope one day. I hope they get thrown out. Yeah.
and it's been Brett. It's still Brett versus Shawn. It's still Brett, except The Rock is on Team Brett.
Yeah.
Rock, one way or the other, The Rock is going to get revenge on these two guys, and I think Triple H knows it, and I think Triple H has been purposely fucked up the Cena heel turn to fuck with The Rock. All of this is tied into what's going on in '97. This is what makes wrestling so much fun. This is what
Yeah.
makes.
This is the stuff that really is fun. Yeah.
Because,
I
because
love it.
people sit on
Look how
Twitter.
long we're talking about it. Look how long we're talking about it, right? It's fantastic.
On Twitter, like, how could they be fucking up the how could they be fucking up the John Cena heel turn? And my answer is because Shawn Michaels was rude to The Rock in 1997. That's why. So
Yeah. Not just rude. He was a bully.
he was a bully. He was a bully.
Yeah,
And he
yeah.
was
Okay, this is okay. Wait. We got to make sure we clear this up. He's not being rude. He's trying to get The Rock fired.
guy's career. Yeah.
He's trying to get him fired. That deserves that's not being rude. That's deserves all the hate in the world. Absolutely. He's trying to get him fired. Anyways,
If he had gotten his way with Vince, they would have lost the WCW. The company went out of business.
So number 26 is Mankind at the Royal Rumble. He comes in and he starts going immediately after Terry Funk. 27 is Flash Funk. And then while Flash Funk comes out.
Not related to Terry Funk.
Nah, yeah, not related to Terry Funk. Yeah, they say that. They do mention that. Bret Hart, by the way, he hits Austin with a big pile driver, kind of showing Terry Funk, hey, Funk, this is how you do a pile driver. Flash Funk dives onto Diesel and Terry Funk in a cool spot in the match, but he's not eliminated. There's in the ring. Number 28, Vader. Vader comes in, and guess who bumps for Vader? Austin. Austin's taking all the kinds of hits from Vader, bumping hard for him.
Way to be.
Yeah.
Look,
29 is Henry Godwin. Henry Godwin comes in.
Hold on. This is why Austin is the greatest of all time. Because Austin understands if you're not constantly making Vader to look like a monster, there's no value in Vader. And if there's value in Vader, when Austin's the champ, they can have a fucking feud. So anyway.
Yeah, exactly. So and Austin knows he's getting this push, but he's still willing to fucking put over Vader and stuff. Incredible.
I don't know if he's going to get the push of pushes. We're going to talk about why he won the Rumble once we get to it. Keep going.
Yeah, we're almost there. 29 is Henry Godwin, who comes in, and Henry Godwin is deceivingly big, and he knocks down Vader. And number 30 is Undertaker, who comes out to a big pop, and he choke slams Steve Austin. He choke slams Vader. Vader, however, gets back up, and he overhead throws Flash Funk out of the ring for the 21st elimination. That was a hard bump. That was a hard fall on the ring floor.
Scorpio gave that to Vader because they're friends. When I watched him, Scorpio knew that Vader's being fucked. He's like, I'm gonna help you. Let's fucking go.
Yeah, that was like a crazy elimination. Yeah. I think they're. Yeah, I agree. Probably friends. Undertaker choke slams Henry Godwin out the ring. Chokes him out the ring for the 22nd elimination. Mankind. Mandible Claws Rocky Maivia out the ring for the 23rd elimination. 7 guys left. Yeah. Mankind then suplexes Terry Funk out the ring. 24th elimination. And Undertaker then big boots Mankind out the ring for the 25th elimination. So there's 5 guys left. Now, both Mankind and Terry Funk are on the floor, and they start fighting each other. And the referees are distracted. They're like, whoa, yo, you guys, stop fighting. Everyone's trying to break up this fight between Mankind and Terry Funk. And while the referees are distracted, Bret Hart dumps Austin out for the 26th elimination. But the refs are so busy that they don't see it. Austin, as soon as he gets eliminated, he crawls back into the ring. He rolls back in, and he takes out Undertaker and Vader for 26th and 27th elimination. By this point, the referees are paying attention again. While this is happening with Austin, Bret Hart, he dumps out the fake Diesel for the 28th elimination. As soon as he takes out Diesel, Austin dumps Bret Hart out the ring to win the Royal Rumble. Bret is pissed off. He gets back in the ring. He grabs the referee, brings him over. He goes, I fucking threw this fucker out. What the fuck are you doing? He shoves referees. He goes back out to the floor. He grabs Vince McMahon Jr., starts yelling at him. This is all your fault. And that is how the Royal Rumble ends. The match that is. I gave this a B. I really love this Royal Rumble. It was a great story, in my opinion.
I thought it was just okay. The action wasn't as good as I wanted to be.
The action wasn't as good. You're right. The action wasn't as good, but the story is amazing. I like the story.
Austin won the Rumble.
What?
You want to know why Austin won the Rumble?
Yes, please tell me why Austin won the Rumble.
Okay. So they had the show Livewire. And on the show Livewire, they were trying to get the ratings up. Vince Russo is allowed to go on the show as the editor, Vic Venom, as the character. And he's allowed to have a little segment where he talks about storylines. And Vince McMahon tells Vince Russo, don't hold back, say whatever you want. You know, that. So there's a segment where Sonny or Jim Cornette or someone asks him, who's going to win the Rumble? And Vince Russo goes, anyone with half a brain knows that Bret Hart is going to win the Rumble. He's gunning for Shawn. He's gunning for Sid. He's got a lot to prove. Shawn Michaels is going to win the Rumble. If you think anyone else besides Shawn Michaels is going to win the Rumble, besides Bret Hart, you're a fucking idiot. It airs. Vince McMahon calls Vince Russo in the office. Why the fuck did you say that? He goes, what do you mean? He goes, that's the finish for the Rumble. He goes, yeah, of course it's the finish. It's the only thing that makes sense. You're building up Shawn Bret too. And he goes, yeah, but I can't now. I can't have Bret win the Rumble. And he goes, no one really saw it. Who gives a shit? Just fucking let him win. And McMahon's like, no, you fucking just you nailed what I'm going to do, and I don't want it to be spoiled. So he gave it to Austin.
That's a stupid reasoning. That's such a dumb reasoning.
It's dumb. It is dumb. And I agree with Vince Russo said no one's watching Livewire, Vince. And I agree with Vince Russo.
Yeah. But I will say this. I do like this concept better than Bret just winning.
Well, the other reason I don't like this finish is because for a while this year, 99 and 2000, the winner of the Rumble does not just go on to have a match. You know, Austin doesn't get the title shot. 99, Vince McMahon doesn't get the title shot. And then in 2000, The Rock has to go into a four-way match to get the title. And in 2006, Rey Mysterio has to do a three-way. And to me, it takes away the Rumble because, you know, you see someone win, but you're like, well, they might not really get the title shot because Austin didn't get it and fucking McMahon didn't get it. They'll find a way out of it. Like nowadays, it's like, yeah, the guy won the Royal Rumble, he's getting the title shot. But they kind of made it like, even though we said they're going to get a title shot, if we don't feel like it, we're not going to do it. You know?
I see. Yeah, you're right. It kind of opens the door for a lot of screwy shit to happen. I get it, yeah, but it's compelling because it's like it kind of fit the Austin character too, you know?
And you know, the original idea is Bret Hart wins the Final Four next month, and then him and Shawn, or him and whoever, have a match at WrestleMania, and then Shawn loses his smile. And it all worked out for the best, but Shawn kind of ruins everything. Speaking of Shawn ruining everything, let's get to the main event.
Yeah, we got to go to the main event. It is we get the video package of Sid and Shawn Michaels. These guys are friends, but now they're at each other's throats, and they show you in the package Sid not only attacking Jose Lothario, but Jose Lothario's 19-year-old son, who's also trying to be a wrestler. He beats him up too.
Clearly,
Um,
it didn't work out.
yeah, Jim Ross, he is interviewing before this match Shawn Michaels, who is sick with the flu. He's got the flu. And he cuts a promo on Sid about, I'm sick, but I got to try my best. It's my hometown. And Jose, I mean, what do you call it? Shawn Michaels comes out with a fucking cowboy hat on, and Jose Lothario walks out with him, and they're doing this. They're walking out, and they get in the ring, and Shawn Michaels does this long dancing number. He just dances for a fucking long time.
Because he's the greatest, man. Come on.
Yeah, Sid starts walking out, and he turns to the camera, and he goes, "I smell a power bomb." I was like, "Oh yeah, this is it." Number 6, main event, WWF Championship match: Shawn Michaels with Jose Lothario versus Sid, the champion. Uh, they're facing off. Basically, your typical story of power versus speed. Shawn Michaels' speed wins out early as he sends Sid out early into the match. Jose Lothario's son, Pete Lothario, the one who got beat up by Sid, he is actually sitting in the front row with a cowboy hat on himself. The commentator teams do mention that this is Jose Lothario's last escort of Shawn Michaels. After this, he is done. Um, so if you watch Jose in this match, he's like extra animated. He's like he's doing extra because he knows this is it. This is the final
Well,
one.
the territory. This is the area where he became a star. So for him, he's at the when he's anywhere else, everyone's who the fuck is this guy, right? But
Yes.
here, where like he became a big deal. So I think he's kind of like being like, "Hey, it's me."
Yeah, it's like, hey, my last hurrah, yeah, and I'm gonna live it up. And to my super fans here in Texas, in San Antonio, so Sid, he starts wearing down Shawn Michaels, starts beating on him as fans start booing, right? Because they in San Antonio they love Shawn Michaels. They do show you Shawn Michaels' mom and dad. They're actually here watching this, and
Yeah,
man, Vince McMahon Jr. really loves showing the moms and dads like early on. Like you got to show everyone's mom and dad. It's um Shawn
it's not
Michaels.
the
Yeah,
human. I think it like humanizes them. It's not the worst thing in the world. And if they're there, why not show them? It
yeah,
kind of makes it more real.
yeah.
It's a little thing.
So Shawn Michaels kicks up, and this begins his Hulk up process. He starts firing back, and he gets dumped over the top. But however, he gets dumped over the top rope, and then Sid power bombs him on the floor. After he power bombs Shawn Michaels, Sid grabs both Jose and Pete Lothario, right? Um,
Mhm.
and he's trying to choke slam both of them, but then he decides to let them both go so he can focus back on Shawn Michaels. There's a referee bump, and Sid does hit the choke slam, and he gets the cover on him, but the referee's out. So a second referee has to come in, but he's too late to make the 3 count. Only gets a 2. Sid gets annoyed by this, and he knocks down the second referee. And as he's doing this, Shawn Michaels gets that camera, and he hits Sid with the camera, kind of like what happened in their first match. And the referee is not there, so they don't see it. And then Earl Hebner was the first referee. He starts slowly making a count, but he could only make up to 2. Then Shawn Michaels gets up, Sid gets up, Shawn Michaels hits the sweet chin music, and then Earl Hebner finally makes the 3 count. Shawn Michaels celebrates with more of his family members who are all sitting behind the commentary team. Uh, he hugs Vince McMahon Jr. as well, and then
Oh yeah.
uh, he starts shaking his ass in front of Junior, and Junior likes it. He's like, "Yeah." That part was weird. He hugs him and he starts shaking his ass in front of him. Maybe this is the root where the rumors begin that hey, maybe they had a thing. And then he goes and he starts hugging all the fans, including super fan Vlad. Vlad flew himself all the way to San Antonio to watch
Worth it.
this garbage. Um, Overall, not a bad main event. I gave it a B. You
I
thoughts on the main event?
I always liked this match, and then I do think that they had a better match at Survivor Series. This is all about like again, they're trying to reaffirm that Shawn is a top guy. He's not. He is a hell of a worker. He is a legend. He's not a top guy, especially not in this era.
Mm.
And it just feels like you're double downing on your mistakes. Fortunately for Vince McMahon, Shawn Michaels will turn into a complete and utter asshole, and they'll have to pivot for WrestleMania 13. Because I do think that if WrestleMania 13 had been like Steve Austin versus Davey Boy Smith and Shawn Michaels versus Brett, it would have been atrocious. And WCW would have kicked the shit out of them well into 1998. But, you know, things, this is a very chaotic year. This is a very chaotic year. And the fact that 2 years from now, they're like making so much money that Vince is like, I'm going to go public on Wall Street, uh, is massive because there's so many ways that 1997 could have went wrong and just drove them out of business, you know?
Yeah, facts.
But yeah, overall, not a good show. I would say skip it, you know?
Yeah, it's you know, it is what it is. Just watch it on highlights on YouTube.
But it is, I gotta say, Andrew, this is gonna be a very fun year to talk about. Because
Yeah,
we had a lot to say in this Rumble match, and there's a lot going on. It's gonna be very fun to talk about.
yeah. In fact, I would say this: the next pay per view that we're reviewing sold out. I'm actually looking forward to that because a concept of a NWO pay per view that is interesting. I won't lie, that is very intriguing. You know, so that's what I'm looking forward to. What about you?
Oh yes, let's go over the next 4 weeks. Next week is NWO sold out, Giant versus Hulk Hogan. In 2 weeks, it's In Your House Final Four. Steve Austin versus Bret Hart versus Vader versus Undertaker. Winner is a WWE champion. In 3 weeks, it's Super Bowl 7, Roddy Piper versus Hulk Hogan. And then in 4 weeks, it's Uncensored 97, Team NWO versus Team WCW versus Team Piper in some weird Survivor Series ripoff match. It sounds very strange. I've never seen it. We'll see it together. Yeah, I'm looking forward to NWO sold out the most out of those shows because it sounds very weird. It sounds very different. And I like weird and different. And it didn't work out. And Bischoff says it's a bad show. But I'd rather see a bad show that tries to do something different than a bad show like Halloween Havoc 92, which is basically just a waste of our time, you know?
Wow. So the next three out of the next four shows are WCW pay per views.
Yes, yes.
Interesting.
And then in April ECW shows up. So it's a hell of a year. A lot to talk about.
Yeah.
We're gonna see Sabu, who was murdered by GCW, but we're not supposed to talk about it anymore. It's gonna be interesting.
Yeah.
All right, guys, that's the podcast. If you want to murder Sabu, you should subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on Instagram, leave a comment if you have any thoughts about 1997. It's going to be a huge year. This is going to be one of the most fun years to talk about in the so it's such a you know what makes this year so much fun, Andrew, is that it all leads to Montreal, and Montreal really, you know,
Yeah, I totally forgot that happens. Oh my god.
we're headed, dude. We're less than a year away from the Montreal screw job. It's
Wow.
fucking all right.
Interesting.
Next week for the NWO screw job. NWO sold out. Thank you so much for listening. Get home safe. Good night.